Okay, and so I guess because it's a harder medium to read rather than to listen, I'm going to read it. Yes, read it. Okay, hold on. Because I feel that that's the best way to get the perfect, most precise interpretation of the concept, rather than just regurgitating everything and missing or somewhat misplacing words that shouldn't be propagated. So I'm going to start with the first post, and maybe the way that I read it may convey more meaning, which is actually ironic to the message I'm trying to send out in general. So allow me to begin. The thought was provoked while on the computer as usual, only that I suddenly came to focus on my biting my finger, gently of course, and feeling a dry, cold plastic texture. And with this, wandering the thought further, imagining the situation of me or someone doing this to another they loved, say, but in most cases desired, and in my case, well, a girl, but only abstractly with no one particularly in mind. The two are romantic, say, and they are learning each other without so many words. Now I insert my finger into her mouth to learn that her teeth reveal the sensation of dryness, almost plastic. Like, I'm not sure if you guys ever feel that, like, you guys are, reading on the computer or doing whatever you're doing, and you happen to do this, and you feel your teeth, and it's, especially if you just take a shower and brush your teeth and let it dry off, it has this sort of sensation. But anyway, when you're into like a mentally deep zone of thinking, and you do that, well, you get some kind of production like this. Anyway, let me continue. The thought renders to mind, don't say the truth, thereby hurting her feelings even in the smallest clamor. Instead lie. But if I were to say the truth, is that indeed the truth? The fact that if I were to reveal to her the way I was feeling in that moment, that namely that her teeth felt plasticky or dry, would that really, even though that was a sensation I felt in that very moment, would that necessarily constitute truth? I mean, yes, it was sure a feeling experienced and extrapolated and trying to be revealed through my words that felt plasticky and whatnot, but was that really an accurate description of that experience or that sensation of what I felt? Is that really truth? That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so, but if I were to say the truth, is that indeed the truth? Thereby doubting my vocabulary in relation to the spoken word choice. Or is there a fine line between our vocabulary, even when only mentally perceived of, that draws untruthful assessments through the word's connotation? If I were to say the truth that her teeth felt dry, the way it was phrased, the words that I used, is that indeed what I meant? Again, I'm painting the same description that I just laid out a second ago. Okay, perhaps slightly in some way. What if that was merely half of my meaning, capturing but a diminished segment of the whole experience? In that the truth only transliterates with my known and limited vocabulary in order to say its rough equivalence. Not exactly, but its rough equivalent. This equivalence must then be untruthful in some regard, either ever so minutely or ever so drastically, which unfortunately, in the case of her teeth, has a bad connotation, or a worse one than the truth actually has it to be. The intention originates from me, and unspoken, a sensation, my own feeling. This is originally, my experience is experienced without so many words. Later words try to describe what originally was experienced by you, and thereby my point is that you may miss some of the meaning that goes beyond that when trying to explain what you just experienced. Okay, where am I? How might she ever know? If language is imperfect, could she ever know my true intentions, any intentions, completely to the level that I know them? What this basically begs the question is, we each have, I'm putting forth this sort of as an argument, we each experience our own experiences. No two people could be at the same exact space at the same exact time. Try doing the physics on that, even the quantum mechanics. You never get two exact particles in the exact absolute time and space. Because of that, ever so slightly, we are experiencing different parts of what we call reality, what we coin reality. So, since we're experiencing, even in the most slightest clamor, a different experience, to relate that which we just experienced to another perceiver, another person, that I'm putting forth is impossible. That is what I call whole meaning. And whole meaning, I think, is impossible to achieve by communication towards two people. I think it's impossible for one person to have an experience and relate that completely to another. Maybe somewhat. Maybe some people will get the idea, a glimpse, but never the full experience of what you're experiencing. That's my argument. Okay, that might seem rather intuitive. Maybe it might seem rather repulsive intellectually, so we'll see what you guys think about that. And suppose that we got to the bottom of this, of what the truth was, wherein it was relatable to her and myself somehow. Basically, that somehow we both understood my whole meaning, that I understood my experience and it was communicatable to her. And we actually understood in unison my original meaning. And suppose further that the truth was not as bad as was previously thought, but nevertheless, still not so great. And the fact that I didn't like her teeth in some small way, at that point, like a subjective standstill in the moment in time, that her teeth brought to me a sensation that was undesirable in the tiniest accordance of scale. But there still is hope in the next few moments to come. You see, in that she might react one of a few ways, upset or confused or hopeless to a degree. She may be the resuscitation in the next moments to come, in the revival of my liking that same object, that same texture, those same teeth, the same plasticky feeling, that same experience. And with nothing more than gratitude for the moment, I will be confused in retrospect of the last few moments and how silly and irrational I've become. That last line was just a little poetic touch, a little sprinkle of dust. But anyway, yeah. So that's going to be the first comment. I'll leave these bite-sizable. I think I already said enough here. Peace.